Hello. Here is Explode Your Coaching Business podcast, brought to you by gtex.org.uk. Growing together exponentially, I am your host, the one and the only Simone Vincenzi. And this is the podcast for coaches, speakers, trainers who want to grow their businesses by making an impact in the world. Today's episode is sponsored by Explode Your Coaching Business Training. For more information, make sure you visit www.gtex.org.uk/start. Yes, that's the link. I'm so excited about today's show because I have the pleasure to interview the sexiest person in the world. Myself, oh yeah, this is a solo episode as my guest did not show up, so I decided to record a special episode just for you on how to create events that sell. So in this episode, we will cover how to create a powerful introduction that gets people engaged, qualifies them, and gives you expert authority and status. How to deliver content in a way to deliver so much value that people are hungry for more. They're like hungry. And then how to use the secret transition to prepare your audience to buy more from you, and how to close in a powerful and clear way that converts up to 80% of your audience without feeling like a douchebag. You know what I mean? Now, make sure you all subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any episode, and leave us a comment. Do this right now. And if you want to reach out to me, any question, you can email me at simone@gtex.org.uk. That comes straight into my inbox. And with that, let's start the music. Alright folks, welcome to episode number 27. I'm really excited about this episode. As I said, this is a bonus episode. And why is it a bonus episode? Because I love you guys. As we know, we have a lot of events. In particular, one of our events is called How to Create Events That Sell, where we teach other people incredible structure that help us making more than £300,000 in sales from events. So we teach other coaches, speakers, and trainers how to use this framework so then also other people can make that amount of money and also help incredible people. And disclaimer, if you've been to another event, you know when there are all these multi-speaker, these incredible speakers that are selling from stage, and it becomes a pitch fest, and the only thing you feel left after this pitch, you feel drained, you feel exhausted, you feel abused. So this is not what I'm talking about. It's a structure that allows you to create an event that sells in a very gentle way. This is what I love. I don't like the hard selling, hard pitching. I think that the coaching and personal development industry personally needs to move away from that as soon as possible. So this is what we are going to be talking today, and I'm going to give you this structure. But before we start, I'm going to tell you a little story. I had a client that wanted to start his first event, and he has been from a lot of other speakers and a lot of other trainers, so he had incredible knowledge. But I believe that knowledge is nothing without application. So you can learn everything you need, but if you don't apply it, then I'm sorry, nothing is going to change in your life and in your business. So I was talking to my client, and we decided just to implement some few quick changes, just a simple change, in particular at the beginning with this presentation. Instead of starting with a question, he decided to start with a story. And it was a story of two people. There was a story of two people that fell in love and they met. And you don't know if you remember that time where your first love or your first kiss, maybe your heart was palpitating. It's like, and you were there waiting for that moment, and in your mind everything was magical, and you could see unicorns around you. You can almost fly. You felt light. Yeah, exactly. One of these moments. So we decided to use that story. And just using a quick story at the beginning created a connection with the audience that helped him massively along his call. So I think that one of the greatest thing that you can do to start is start with a story. So there are different ways where you can start your event, and I'm going to give you the structure first. So the structure is based in 4 points. So it's a 4-point structure to start your event. The first one is an introduction. So you want to have an incredible introduction, because if you don't have a great introduction and you know this introduction by heart, then you are going to fluff about it. You are not going to be clear. Your message is going to be to be lost in the event. Then the second, you want to have your content. So that's the part of the content after the introduction, where you deliver the content that you want to deliver. And then if you don't have a strong content, in particular a content that can engage people, not just teach people but engage people, then you are going to be like every other speaker. So when we encourage you to create a content, is a dynamic content, what we call interactive content, when people can have quick, immediate wins. And I'm going to talk to you about that. Then the third part is the transition. Now, this is a small part, a small sequence that you can introduce between the content and the pitch to make the pitch work, everything work seamlessly. And some people don't do that. You know, sometimes you have this awkward moment when you go on stage and you deliver this great content, this great presentation, and then well, by the way, I have my coaching program that is £2,000, but for tonight it's £10, right? Thank you. Right, so in order to avoid the awkwardness, there is a great, in particular if you're starting out and you don't want to go into the advanced pitches, then you can use this transition, and then there is the part of the close. Now, if you don't have a strong close, the close and the introduction are the two things that needs to be rehearsed completely, that you need to know them word by word in exact sequence, otherwise you're going to get lost and people are not going to buy. So if you don't have a strong close, and as a strong, I don't mean an abusive close like the one that you see in super big stages, but if you don't have a close that can tell directly people what to do and it can engage people into buying your product or service, then they are not going to buy. So these are the 4 steps that we are going to cover in this part, on this bonus episode of Explode Your Coaching Business Show. Oh my god, guys, I'm so excited here. All right, let's start. So first of all, introduction. Now, there are 2 ways where you can start. There are some speakers that love to start with qualifying your audience. So what it means, you can ask 2 or 3 questions to make sure that the audience is in the right place. So you can say, raise your hand if you want to make more money. And everyone raises their hands. Raise your hand if you want to make more money and live a life on your term. And then they raise their hand. Or raise your hand if you would raise your hand. It doesn't matter what I would say, right? And then they have a giggle. So this is to break the ice. This is really important, because if you don't do something like this, then the audience, they are going to be defensive. So what you want to do is something they can do to break their state, to break their closed body language. So just the fact of raising their hand, it makes them feel, yes, I'm here, I'm part of this. Now, if you see that you go to an event where everyone is using this, because it's very common, then the audience is going to be resistant to this technique, because they have already been used over and over again. So this is where you can change, and then you can start with a story. Now, this is a story that is about you and about your audience. Now, when you tell stories, it's not just, I want to tell a random story of Red Riding Hoods just because I feel like doing it. No, every story in your presentation, whether it's a third-person story or is a first-person story, which is your story, needs to be there for a purpose. I'll give an example. I was starting doing, when I started doing coaching and speaking, I was using a lot of stories, and most of the time they didn't have a point. I was just talking about my past, and I was talking about my dreams, and I was talking about what happened when I was playing basketball, and I was talking about that moment where I've learned how to play didgeridoo, but they had no context. They had no freaking contest. So if they had no contest, how could I create an impact? Because actually, I left people more confused than anything else. So you see what I did there? Stop and rewind. I actually told a story of stories that I was telling. But this time I had a point because he wanted to prove the point that I wanted to make, which is don't tell stories if they don't have a point. I'm not making this quite like a roundy, but I'm sure you can get it right now. So you can start with a story. Now, there is a story that I start with, and if you use like props, then it becomes even more impactful because it's about creating that shock factor. It's about creating that, oh my god, this guy or this woman, they are amazing. They are awesome. They are captivating. There is a story that I tell called Johnny and Jake where I do some breakdancing on stage, and the meaning of the story is to take action and to participate fully. So the first story that I say has the meaning of participating fully. Now, because what I want to do is that the audience to participate fully during my presentation. So that story is incredibly engaging, incredibly captivating. I do breakdancing on stage and they love it. And they are with a message of I got to be fully engaged during all of this presentation. So that works like a charm. Works perfectly. So then once you qualify the audience or you tell the story, then it's really important. This is an error that, the second step, is a mistake that a lot of rookies make. They start, you see someone start and say, hi guys, thank you very much. Is that okay if I share a bit more about my story? That's the first thing. Now, why is this a rookie mistake, starting with your personal story, with your hero's journey? That's a rookie mistake because they have no context again. So you're just giving a story which might be incredibly powerful, but is not seen under the frame or the lens of the learnings that they're going to get. So this is a great thing that I'm actually doing, which is incredibly awesome. And a lot of great speakers do, which I've learned from them, is start with qualifying the topic. Tell them why is what you're going to share important for them. Because remember, before people are interested in you, they are interested in themselves. So if you say, for example, during this event, I'm going to share with you how you can make a lot of money by creating events that sell. I'm going to share with you how you can, first of all, create a powerful introduction that will make your audience wow. I will share with you how you can create content that will keep the audience engaged and hungry for more. I'm going to share with you how you can create a sales pitch that is not alienating people, that is not outselling, that are closing, so you don't feel like being a douchebag, but is high converting, that can get you 30 to 60% of the audience that you're selling to. If I'm starting with that, and then I'm asking, now, is that okay if I share if I share a bit more about me, so then you can understand how I made this and why you should listen to me? That's a great point, because in that moment your story becomes a proof of what you're going to sell and what you're going to share, and it gives credibility, which is the purpose of your story. The purpose of your story are two things. One is create connection, and the other one is create credibility. Add credibility. So you create connection because they know you, and you add credibility to the product or service that you're going to sell. That's why your story is so important and is freaking awesome. So before telling your personal story, then what you do, you choose the topic. So you talk about the topic. What is that you are going to talk about? And why is it important for them? And why is it important right now? Why? Because you want them to buy right now. If you say, well, this will be important maybe in 1 or 2 years, and they don't realize that right now is the moment to take action, then they're not going to buy. So forget it, all the other part of the close, because you haven't set up the beginning in the right place. Is it making sense, guys? Perfect. So right now what you want to do is, first of all, as I said, qualify your audience or start with a story. Then tell them about why the topic is important and why right now. And then talk about your story. Now, your story needs to be created in a way that gives proof, as I said, gives proof and credibility to what you're going to sell at the end and what you're going to talk about. That's the whole purpose of your story. Why? Because ideally, the way you create your story is using a technique called the hero's journey, which is used by Hollywood movie makers, by screenwriters, and is incredible. It keeps people engaged. It keeps people wanting to listen for more. And it's very simple. You start with a situation as it is. I'm not going to spend a lot on this part. You can go on our website, and we have a blog called the Ultimate. I think it was the Ultimate Sale, the Ultimate Sales Pitch, or the Ultimate Selling from Stage blog post, something like that. And you can find. But if you write Selling from Stage on Google, we are the second ranking there. So in that moment, and we have all this structure, how to create all this structure. Now, using that. As I was saying, the hero's journey, you start with a situation as it is normally. So, for example, I was a coach, but I didn't know how to run events. That's generally my story. Then I go into what the problem is. That I personally didn't know how to create events, and I was actually starting my own events, but I was spending so much money in venues and so much money in marketing, but I didn't have people attending the event, and I didn't have made any sale. So people were coming to me telling me how great I was from stage, but I made no sale. And I was like, this is not so sale. I cannot go for it. Why these guys are making millions and I'm not? So then you go to what is called a turning point. So something, maybe a mentor comes in, and maybe you've learned something from someone, or you've invested in something. So then I say, well, I've invested more than £30,000, and actually in total right now, that's when I was starting telling the story, but now I've invested more than 6 figures in my speaker training, just because I wanted to learn the secret, and I spent countless hours going to events and really breaking down the pitches of the best closers in the world. There were people that made me cringe, that I would never buy, and there were people that made me, oh my god, this guy is awesome. And I was breaking down their pitches like word by word. And I started implementing what I was learning. And in the meanwhile, I was creating my own framework, because I knew that the industry needed to go on a different direction. I knew that the industry needed to go on a different place. So you see what I'm doing there? I'm actually giving credibility to myself and my journey. It means I've done the work. You gotta trust me, I've done the work. And then you go to the last point, which is, and created my seminars, and we sold more than £300,000 of coaching product and services from stage. And this is why right now I'm helping other speakers, coaches, and trainers creating events that sell without feeling like being douchebags. Now, this is all really your story. You can create more anecdote. You can describe your story better. You can have more description to get people into your story. But this is the structure. If you go outside that structure, people will feel like, oh yeah, great story, but it's not relevant. So you want to make sure that your story is relevant to the point. You still following me? Yes, awesome, fantastic. Then after that, you actually do something that, after sharing your story, which is point number 4 of the introduction, you are going to make your offer. Oh, I hear you saying, what? I got to make my offer right now? Like, really? I haven't said anything yet. I've just said what I'm going to talk about. I've just said why it's important. I've just talked about my story. Why the heck do I have to sell right now? Now, this is the thing. If you just leave the pitch until the end and the audience is not aware of what you're going to close and what you're going to sell, the challenge is that you will close only the impulsive buyers. The impulsive buyers are the people that will buy anyway. They are there, they want to buy, they are looking for your product, whether it's you or someone else, that wouldn't make a difference. But then also they are the people that give you the biggest refunds. Now then you have the strategic buyers. The strategic buyers are the one that they need to think before making a purchase. So what you're doing, you are activating the buying strategies of every single client in the room. This is a great way in order to seed. Also, it's called seeding. So you are seeding the program, you are seeding the price, and the way you're doing it is you describe what you're going to offer at the end, not to mention the bonuses yet, but you describe what you're going to offer at the end without an offer or without any discounts. So you say, guys, this is what I have for you at the end. I'm going to offer, it's very simple. There is more to that, but the simplistic version, because the wording of it becomes a masterpiece. But in a very simplistic way is, right, guys, at the end of the presentation, I'm going to talk to you about our training program that we have. And I believe that there are 3 things that are really important in order to be really successful in creating a coaching business. First of all, actually 4 things. Well, first of all, you need to create your vision. You need to have a clear vision. You need to know where you're going. Then secondly, and I explain why. So I'm just making it short right now. Generally explain why. Then I'm saying, then the second one, you need to have a clear target audience. If you don't have a target audience, if you don't have a clear target market, people don't know. You will never know who is your target customer, and you cannot create the products that are right for them, and you will end up wasting time and wasting money just running around like an headless chicken without getting any result. Then third, you need to know how to market your product service, and creating a killer product and service that people want. So create your signature product. And then fourth, you need to know how to sell your product. You need to know how to sell your product effectively in a way that people will buy and will say, yes, here's my credit card, let's go, Simone, I want to work with you. Oh, thank you very much, I appreciate that, you're awesome. And I say, if you want to learn those things, I have a training program coming up in the next 2 weeks, which is called Explode Your Coaching Business. And we are going to cover exactly those 4 points. Without any offer or any discount, this is the price, but I'm going to make an offer at the end with some cool bonuses. Is that cool, guys? And then everyone is like, yeah, whatever. But in this moment, I've already created interest because my target audience, I know, these are the things that they want. They don't have a vision most of the time about their businesses, or if they have it, is blurred. They don't have a clear target market. So we have them creating a very specific, crystal clear target market. They don't have a signature product, and they don't know how to sell it. So I know that the right people that are in debt, that they want that, they will be alright. Oh, I'm interested now. So then they might not be ready to buy because I need to give them value through the content that I'm going to deliver, but they're going to be really interested, and their buying strategy is activated. You know, it's almost like, I don't know if that ever happened to you, but when let's say you're not even hungry, and then you're walking on the high street, and you know that in the high street there are all these high street restaurants. So we are in London, and there are, let's say we are in Leicester Square, and there are all these high street restaurants. So we have Strada, which is an Italian restaurant. We have another Italian restaurant called Zizi. We have Garfunkel. We have the Steakhouse. And you might not be even hungry at the moment, but the more you walk, because there are all these restaurants around you, suddenly you start feeling a little hunger in your stomach. Something that's saying, I actually kind of need a quick bite. And then what happened? You ended up, after 30 minutes, you're there sitting in a restaurant. You didn't know how that happened, but you are there, right? I've been guilty of that many times. I'm like, I'm not even hungry. Why is 2 o'clock in the afternoon? And maybe I had breakfast at 10 o'clock, so I wasn't even hungry. And I was there. Why? Because those restaurants actually activated my buying strategy, showing me, and my hunger strategy, by showing me all these incredible menus and the pictures and the images and the waiters outside that were greeting me with a smile. So that's the same thing that psychologically happens when you present something great in your product or service. Now, there is something incredible that I really want you to consider is always being yourself when you do anything. Because even when you're talking about this, it just needs to sound conversational. It just needs to sound like, even if you get it or you don't get it, and you buy it or you don't buy it, I actually don't care. This is what I have at this stage. And be always natural. If you are funny and humorous, put some humor in. For example, when I give my sales pitch, I always say, okay guys, now is the moment that everyone was looking for, so can I please have a drum roll? And everyone is like, what? So they give me a drum roll and say, hey, the sales pitch. If it's a small audience, I can do that. And they are like, ha 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 ha. And I'm like, ho 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 ho. But this is just me. I take the piss because most of my audience, they know already all the techniques that I'm going to use. So what I'm doing, I'm actually taking the piss of every single part so I can create some humor in that. And I'm breaking their barriers, their resistance that will stop them from making the right decision for some of them, which is not for everyone, but which is to join our product and our programs. Now, then we have, after this part, after we mention the offer, then we start with the content. So you start with your content, and when you want to create your content, you want to create your content in a way which is very specific. Now, I think there are past the days of, here I am, the incredible speaker. I'm going to speak for about 5 hours, and you're going to sit there on your chair without moving. And even if your ass is burning on fire, you are not going to stand up. Why? Because I am the speaker. Well, my friend, get you to tell you something. My attention span is smaller than the one of probably a drunken crocodile. I mean, I never met, fortunately, a drunken crocodile, but I don't think their attention span is that long. So, if after someone speaks for more than 20 minutes, I'm done. I'm on Facebook. I am on Instagram. I am closing clients while I'm at other people's event, or I'm learning something. So I'm doing something which is more engaging. Now, because you know that in their audience you will have people like me that actually are a pain in the ass for a speaker because I'm restless, then I'm probably a bit of ADHD, never been diagnosed, but people told me about this ADHD. I think I'm just freaking restless. I want to get things done. I want to move. I want to do something. You want to make sure that in your presentation you create parts where people got to do stuff. Create an interactive session where people can learn by doing. Now, here's the thing. If you're doing an event with thousands of people, that might not be that easy. So you might have them to talk to the person next to them, or they might them to stand up on the spot without moving around. Because if you have 1 hour and you got 5,000 people to move, you will take 15 minutes to get them to sit down. So that's gonna work. So you got to read the audience. But if you're running an event with 100, 200, 300 people, that's not going to be a big deal. Please do that because they will feel the connection within the audience. And because they are connected with them themselves, they are connected with you as well. And you will stand out. Immediately, you will massively stand out. Capish? Brilliant. Still following me? Fabulous. So that's what I do. I generally have either some visual clues. I don't use many PowerPoints, but I love flip charts. So this is a great tip. This is great, like secret of speaking. And you want to hear that? You want to know that? Are you sure? Secret of public speakers? You sure? Alright, this is the thing. Get your own jumbo markers. Now, if you are a speaker, you see that they use this big fat juicy markers. I know I'm very sad, but they are incredibly sexy. Why? Because everyone can see them. And you have this jumbo fat super juicy marker, and you have 3 colors. Now you want 3 or 4 colors. Now you want to use more than 2 colors, always 2 colors, not the same one, because it's more appealing to the subconscious mind. So instead of having like the same color, then people their eye will be more drawn to look at the flip chart. And I've learned this from Clinton Swain, which makes flip charts. There are some people that write something on a flip chart, but no one can read that. So I'm actually maximum 5 words on half a flip chart, and then everyone can read that, or maximum 10 words on the entire flip chart. I'm just writing trigger words in different colors or different learnings that I want them to get. So then it will automatically trigger that memory. So this is really, really, really powerful. And also it will make you stand out for some other speakers that will have what we call the winky markers, which are the markers that the venue will give it to you, right? Which most of the time, 9 times out of 10, they don't work. So make sure you bring your own marker. So that's one for visual. Then, and also video, if you want to use a video during the presentation, that will help getting those visual people in. Kinesthetic, do an exercise where people can move, can get around, can mastermind, can talk to the person next to them. Give them something to do. The more you do, the more effective your content is going to be, in my opinion. Then you will do the auditory. So auditory, they are going to be listening to you, so they are going to be fine. But you want to make sure that you work on your tonality. Now, I'm recording this podcast and I'm freaking moving like I'm running a seminar right now. But you can see that my voice goes up and down. I want to make sure that even if I'm recording this, my voice is engaging with you, and I'm using different varieties. I'm speeding once I'm talking very fast, and sometimes, and then some other times, I'm making sure you really, but really, did I say really? Oh yes, really get the point. Making sense? Still following me? Fabulous. So that's why you're setting your content. And then the last part is what I call the transition. Now, some people use the transition, some people don't. I found it that in a small audience, it works incredibly well. The transition is something that creates a connection between you and the audience, and also is something that asks them for permission to pitch. And this is the thing, because sometimes the audience now, if you've done a great job in delivering your content and a great job in delivering your story, you have them. The audience is yours. Maybe not every single one, because I still never met someone who got every single member of the audience loving them absolutely. Like not even Tony Robbins, not even Les Brown. They are great to get probably about 99.9%, but there is always someone that is like, whatever, yes, good speaker, right? But now you have them. So there is this part of the code transition that helps me bridge the content to the pitch. And this is what I'm saying generally. Did you enjoy the presentation, guys? I said, you enjoy so far? Say, yeah, okay, good. What did you enjoy the most? And I get them to shout out. And they say, oh, I've enjoyed this. I love that. Oh, I love Simone. You are sexy. Oh, Simone, you are good looking. Thank you. Oh, Simone, I never received so much value in my life. Oh my God, incredible. And then I say, okay, guys, did you get value? What has been the biggest learning that you had? And some people will start shouting, oh, I've learned this and I've learned that. And I've learned how to sell from stage. And I've learned how to create my product and service. And I've learned that being Italian helps if you want to be an incredible speaker. I'm just making it up. And then I asked them, okay, so now is it okay if I'm going to share with you how can you be part and come along on our one-day event, 2 days event, which is Explode Your Coaching Business, and we can help you exploding and literally like getting your coaching business to the next level. And then if you've done a great job, they're like, yes, we are in. If you haven't done that great job, then they're like, yeah, but anyway, they will say yes, because no one will have the balls to say no. There's got some people that say, what if they say no? I never met anyone who said no. And if they said no, I'm like, okay, get over it. I'm going to do it anyway. So I'm just reclaiming the power to myself, because you don't want to give them power. Someone says, is that okay if I'm going to share with you how can you be part of this? And someone says no. And then you start engaging with that person, that's going to destroy everything. I'm saying, okay, get over it. If you don't want to listen, you can leave the room. Bye. I don't need you. And then they are giggling. And then you have the close. So after this transition, so I'm going to make them reflect on 3 points. One is, did they enjoy? So did they have fun? Did they like it? Because why? Because people want to do more stuff that they enjoy. Second, did you get value? People invest in things that they feel valuable. They like and they feel valuable for them. So I tell them you get value. And then is that okay if I'm going to share with you how can I help you create your coaching business, explode your coaching business? Now, I would say no. If I can help them, explode your coaching businesses, and this is why they're there. Jeez, right? So in particular here, I got them into a yes pattern. So they give me three straight yeses. Why? I know that I'm going to get those three straight yeses. So someone is saying yes along the way and agrees with you, then is more likely to buy at the end. Does it make sense? Now, you said yes right now because I know I heard you. That's a sworn on commitment. So if you see now I'm doing it naturally, automatically, I'm using forms like, are you with me? Does it make sense? Are you following me? Because in the mind of people, they're going to say, yes, I'm with you. Yes, I'm following you. Yes, that makes sense. So when I'm pitching at the end, it becomes, the sale is already done. It becomes more like, do I want to pay for this or not? That's a turning point. So remember this. Does it make sense? Are you following me? Is that okay? Is that clear? Yes or no? Brilliant. This kind of they works perfectly, and they needs to be put in place. Now, there are some people that overuse them. I agree with you. They are using them too bloody much. So be mindful. If you don't like, there are some people that don't mind using them too much. There are some other people that don't like. If you don't like using them too much, make sure they are there, but with balance. And then you have the close, and then you have the part of the close. Now, when we are talking about the close, there are many points. So I don't want to overwhelm you. If you want to know more about how you can close perfectly, you can join our membership site, our membership program, which is called Triple Your Business in 6 months or less. And if you go on our website, Triple Your Business, you will find www.gtex.org.uk/triple your business. Then you will get access to the membership site, and we will teach you everything you need in order to create a powerful close. I'm breaking down some pitches that I do. You can use PowerPoint. You have PowerPoint templates that I can give you, so you don't have to create your PowerPoint, but you know what to say and when to say in the sales pitch. Is all scripted there. So if that's something that you really want, and I know you do, just go on www.gtex.org.uk/triple your business, and you will get access to it for only £37 a month. Deal. That's a steal, right? Now, I'm breaking it down, the close, in 3 parts. First of all, you want to talk about the bloody problem. Now remember, people buy a solution. They don't buy your program, they don't buy you, they buy the solution that they want. And you are the one providing that solution. So first of all, in order to provide a solution, you got to have a bloody problem. Thank you very much. I heard you saying that. So a problem. So I'm talking about a problem here, and I'm saying, for example, one of the go-to lines that I have is... according to a survey from the International Coaching Federation in 2015, more than 89% of coaches were earning less than $19,000 every year. Now, I don't know about that, but if I'm working 20 hours a day and I have this big dream of changing the world, and I want to work with hundreds of thousands and changing millions of people's life, and I'm earning less than a normal job, than a waiter, I don't think that's a great use of your skills, and I don't think that's a great use of your value. So I'm making them feel a bit the pain of, geez, I'm actually not earning enough, and my coaching business is not working, so I need something different. And then, so that's first the problem. And then I break down the problem in 3 categories. That's called the sub-problem. So you could tell them what is the big umbrella problem. Coaches don't earn enough. Then, what are the 3 main reasons why? Well, first of all, they don't have, most of the time, they don't have the right communities. They don't have the right peer group. They do everything by themselves, and then they spend time and waste time reading blogs and listening to podcasts. And you're doing the right thing, so keep listening to this one. Forget the others, but keep listening to this one. And they don't have the right crowd. They waste time. And third, they don't know really what to do and what works. So they are just winging it. So they have no direction. And they don't have the tools. So what I'm saying, these are the 3 big problems. And then I'm offering the solution. Now, my solution is really opposite of these three problems. So if I'm saying that the problem is the lack of community, I'm creating a community. If I say that the problem is the lack of skills and tools and strategy, I'm giving them the skills and tools and strategies, which is what we do at Explode Your Coaching Business, our 2 days intensive. And then plus they have a community which you are part of when they join the 2 days. And then, so I'm talking about the solution, and then just at that point, I mention what the program is. Say, okay, so here is how you can get all of this. This is how you can get over, this is how you can get the solution. Come along on the ta-da! Explode Your Coaching Business Intensive. Come for 2 days and we will change the way you'll run your business forever. Now, this is what I say and this is what I do. So at that point when I'm mentioning the program, then I have another part which is the testimonial. So immediately I'm giving social proof to the program that it works. So I'm showing pictures, I'm showing a couple of videos of the program that works, and then I'm going to the breakdown. So I offer the day, and then I offer the bonuses, and then I give a clear call to action. This is what you do right now. Now, why is that important having a clear call to action at the end? Well, a lot of people, they do this great, they might do even a great pitch, but then they say, all right guys, thank you very much, and back to the host. And the host then takes over of the event and say, oh, thank you very much, give him a round of applause. Does anyone have any question? And all the energy that you have built up in your pitch, it goes, right? So, what you want to do is when you make the pitch, you're building up. This is what you can do. This is what you're going to get. This is how your life is going to look like if you implement those strategies that we're going to teach you. This is what happened to our clients. This is the bonuses that you can get. Now, what I want you to do, you see that there is a form just on your chair. Sign up the form and give it at the back of the room. Or come at the back of the room, we have 10 spaces, and you can have the first 10 people, you will get this deal. So you can choose. You can use time scarcity. You can use a time scarcity, which is just for today or just for the next half an hour, or which I love. I love using time scarcity because it doesn't get the rush, but it gets people to join. And I don't like the old people running, because when you use unit scarcity, which is only for the first 10 people, then you get all this rush and people pushing, and then I had that. It was fun for a while, I got to admit, but I don't like it personally. After that, I said, really, why are they so sheeps, and like, why are they doing that? And I did it myself, so I felt in that category before. And I'm giving them very short space of time where they can make their decision. That works well for me. Sometimes I do the unit scarcity. I still use that. So it's completely up to you, the one that you're going to choose. If some people do both, so you can use a unit scarcity. So for the first five people that join in the next 2 minutes, which is like, what the freak, right? So that works even more in terms of adding pressure, because people buy pressure. If you look at maybe Groupon, when you are buying on Groupon, maybe you are doing shopping online, or you are doing things on eBay, there is a bid for only they apply unit scarcity. There is just one unit, multiple buyers, and there is a time scarcity, 1 hour or 2 hours, and then you're glued because you want to buy it. Maybe you don't even need that bloody thing that you're buying from eBay, right? But then clear call to action, and that's where you end your seminar. That's where you end it. If someone asks questions, say, if you have any question, come with me and ask me any question at the back. Boom. And then what you want is you want to have a break after your pitch. You don't want to have the host taking back immediately the event. I've learned this from Joanna Martin. So things that I've learned from different speakers, what I've shared with you today. Some is my speaker trainer, Clinton Swain. Then I've learned it from Joanna Martin, incredible woman that sells from stage and is one of the few women that really is smashing it. Another woman great at selling from stage is Shah Wismond, as well, here in the UK. Then I'm using stuff from Andy Harrington. Don't like him particularly well. Sorry, Andy, if you're listening. But he is the best in the market. Hey, yo, what can you say? Don't like his style. Everyone has his own preferences. But the principle that he teaches works. Just don't like the way he applies them. And then we have the Wealth Dragons, for example, John Lee and Vincent Wong and old Eric Ho. Here, there are great people to learn from. So I've really went to a lot of speaking courses and really looking at the best in the market. Selling from stage. Bill Walsh, one of them. So all the things that I'm going to share with you tonight, I've learned from the best in the market, and I've put together some things that I use and some things that I've tested myself, and some things that I've completely created, because you don't want to be a copy of other people. You want to take the principle, look at what they do, take the principle and what it works, but don't copy them. But if you copy them, then you're never going to be yourself on stage, and that's why you're not going to sell as well as you could, because you're just going to be a robot copying someone else. So you always want to create your own stuff. Look at the principle, look at what works. That's what I did, and then created my own strategy. And this is really what I want to share with you guys. So right now that you have this structure, go out there and use it. Go out there and freaking use it. Now, as I said, if you want to know more and if you want me to help you out with your pitch, which is what I do as well, I create pitches and I help my clients convert, for example, 20% their first pitch, or I have other clients that converted 80% their first event. So it was crazy. Considering that the average conversion rate in the speaking industry is 10%, so which is not bad. You can join our online program, which is Triple Your Business in 6 months or less. You go to www.gtex.org.uk/triple your business, and you will incredibly grow your speaking business. And we'll have a session there. We have different programs there. We have how to grow your meetup from 0 to 1,000 people to 5,000 people in less than 1 year. We have another training called Sales Mastery, where we teach how to sell one-to-one without being pushy or sleazy. We have another training where we teach you how to negotiate, because when you're a speaker or a coach, you will need to do workshops and you need to negotiating with venues, suppliers. So if you don't want to pay more, you need to learn negotiation, and that's what we teach. Then we have another one, which is Sell Like an Italian Stallion. This is my favorite. Guess who is the Italian Stallion? Yeah, exactly, that's me. And in that section, I'm breaking down my pitch, like slide by slide, and I give you also the slide deck that you can use to create your own pitch using the framework. So that will save you years of testing because you have something that already works. So now I hope you enjoy this. I hope you really enjoy this bonus episode of the podcast, because if you use those strategies that we told you today, and you've listened to this, go out there, create your pitch. If you have any question, comment, send me an email, simone@gtex.org.uk. You can go straight into my inbox. I can more than happy to review your pitch and help you with that. Make sure you go out there and practice it. You got to know your pitch. Like your pitch is not just a close. Your pitch is all the event. So you got to know the event by heart. That's what separates an amateur from a professional. An amateur says, I'm winging it. I'll go with the flow. I'll make it up on the spot and I'll talk what will come up in my mind. But if you don't have your introduction, your content and your structure and the transition and the close and all these kind of things, people will come and say, if your speaking skills are good, they will say, yes, oh wow, you're amazing. But they will never take their credit card out. Why? Because selling from stage is a science. And I hope I've showed you this in this episode of the podcast. Now is up to you. Go on there, change the word, be one of these kind of speakers that sell from the heart and make changes in millions of people's life. Now, thank you very much for listening to this episode. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher, wherever you are, on our podcast, and leave us a review. I will really, 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 did I say really? Yes, really. Oh, yeah, really, really, really appreciate that, because that will help us rank in the boost on iTunes. That's other things this is how it works. So please, please, please let me know. And also I would love to hear from you. Do you really enjoy listening to my sexy Italian voice? Right, guys, thank you very much. Have a fantastic day, and always remember, live with purpose. Cheers.